I'm back in Saas-Fee. It's my second year of coming here to film some early season content, and I absolutely love this place. To be surrounded by these huge towers of ice up on this glacier is just incredible. And today, as I've just teased, we're going to be looking at toe-to-toe carving. This is one of those drills that trainers often throw out at wannabe instructors because it requires a lot of technique and precision. And whilst you can build up to it, and of course I'm going to give you guys a progression so that we can do just that, at the end of the day, this is one of those drills that you've either got it or you don't. And I say that because a toe side carve is very black and white. You're either doing it or you're not, and the same thing goes for a front side 180. And if you can link those two things together with nothing else in between, then you've got toe-to-toe carving. So let's build up to it. This isn't a how to carve video. I've made that one before and I'll post that in the description down below. Instead, in this video, we're going to be focusing on the movements that are really specific to this task. Beginning with regular and switch toe side carves across the piste whilst adding in flexion and extension, which is sinking down and standing up, because this will mimic the movements that we're going to need to do shortly to create the pop for the front side 180. So the goal here is to maintain a carve in both stances across the piste, leaving a thin line whilst performing these up and down movements. Next up, we're going to practice a 2-footed jump in the carve across the slope in both stances. And it's not an ollie, because when we get to the front side 180, it's going to be much easier to pull the board around from a 2-footed jump. And not only are we practicing your takeoff, but we're also checking that you can land with the board back in a carve. So when you land, flex your knees and flex into your ankle joints, but make sure you stay on the balls of your feet and you don't completely flatten your feet, which would mean that you lose that carve that we want to achieve. Next step is the front side 180, but before we get there, I'm going to take a moment to shout out Skibro. They're a booking platform where you can browse highly qualified instructors across hundreds of European resorts. And before I got big on YouTube, I used Skibro to advertise myself. And I've got lots of friends, all great instructors, who use Skibro to market themselves. So if you're looking for someone who can take your goals and build you a progression to get you there, then definitely check out Skibro in the link down below. Now, back to the goal for today's video, toe-to-toe carving, and the next step in our progression is this front side 180 off the toes. This one, we can't really break it apart too much. It's not like the easier front side 180 off the heels that you can just kind of push and scrape around. The front side 180 off the toes needs to be cleanly popped, and we want to try and spin the whole 180 round in the air. Yes, you could under-rotate it and land on your heels and push that last bit round, but essentially for this drill, you're then just going to have to unlearn that, because I want to make sure eventually that you're landing on the balls of your feet on your toe edge. So let's really just focus on getting a clean pop, opening up those shoulders and getting that full 180 span around in the air. As you extend up to pop, as we practiced earlier, this time you're going to open up your shoulders ahead of the board, and when you reach your high point, your shoulder line should be roughly 90 degrees ahead of the board. And the key is to bring that movement straight away into your jump, and you want to make sure this movement is fluid, because if you extend up and open your arms and then stall at the top, it's then going to be difficult to get the rotation round. So sink down, arms in line with the board. As you extend up, open that shoulder line, and as you do that, pop the 180 round on the toes, land facing the other direction. Next, we want to focus on landing that 180 onto the toe side. What's going to help is that when you extend up and you create that pop, really try and just extend up vertically. This is going to help keep the board underneath you. If you're a little bit back foot or leaning to one side, it's going to be more difficult to set the board down on the toe edge. When it does set down, as before, when we practice just doing the 2-footed hop, really flex into your ankle joints, bend the knees, but really make sure you kind of stay balanced on the balls of your feet as well, so that the board stays in a carve. And now it's time to put it all together. So land that 180, set it down on your toes, but make sure you have enough of a lateral movement, that is, you're leaning into the next turn, that the board is going to start to pull you around in the arc of the carve. And ideally, as soon as the turn is finished, you should be popping straight away into the next one. You don't want to carve through your turn and then just kind of hold a traverse across the slope. You should have nice, smooth arcs linked by these front side 180s. And it's up to you how long you carry that turn across the slope. kind of as with your normal carving. So if you're on a very mellow slope, your turns might be stretched out and more open, but if you're on something a little bit steeper, you're going to want to close that turn off a little bit more to control your speed. And as you watch me, have a look and you can see how my head is always facing forward in the direction that I'm going, and it stays pretty still. And on that note, I'm actually going to shut up now and let you watch some headcam footage of me performing this, because if you watch my video that I posted recently on visualization, you'll know that the best way to start practicing and acquiring a skill without actually doing it is to visualize it or to watch it in the first person. There you have toe-to-toe carving. Should I make a video on the more difficult version of this exercise, heel-to-heel carving? Ooh, it's a nasty one. I'm not sure if I even want to do it. But if you'd like to see that, or if you have any other drills that you'd like me to cover, just drop me a comment down below. Thank you as always for watching right to the end. It really helps me out, and I'll see you guys in the next one.